What's going on, Packers Nation? Welcome back to another video of Packers Latest. I am your host, Taylor Bretl, keeping you up to date on the latest news of the green and gold Green Bay Packers. A happy Wednesday to all of you watching out there. We're just a couple of days away from Saturday, where the Packers take on the Chicago Bears in what is one of the most anticipated playoff matchups since the last time these two teams faced in that 2010 to 2011 season. If you're new to the channel, I welcome you. Feel free to subscribe, leave a like, turn on a notification bell so you know when these videos go live so you can stay up to date on the latest news of the green and gold. And if you're a returner, I welcome you back. As always, a huge shout out to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. We're going to start off talking about how a lot of head coaches around the NFL are being fired. Granted, these are coaches on teams that are not in the playoffs. Obviously, their season is over, so they're going to start making some moves. But there's been, question mark talks with Matt LaFleur. There's been other talks with, go to the defensive side. Jeff Hafley, will he leave Green Bay and take a head coaching position somewhere else? Because he's been very great for the Packers. So I thought this was something that I should highlight to start it off. I think the big name coach out of all of this, John Harbaugh, no longer with the Baltimore Ravens. Man, he has been there a long while, but losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday Night Football, not making a playoff appearance. They lost the division title there, and that is definitely a tough loss for the Ravens. It feels kind of like one of those firings that was like waiting to happen. Harbaugh, kind of always had gotten the Ravens there. Don't get me wrong, he has that Super Bowl, but kind of since that point, gets the Ravens to the playoffs, can't get it done. Kind of feels similar to Matt LaFleur. This is why I want to keep an eye on these. We've got a couple other coaches. I don't feel like it's to the level of where the Packers sit or Matt LaFleur, but nonetheless, the Las Vegas Raiders fired Pete Carroll after just one season there. The Cleveland Browns fired Kevin Stefanski after their Week 18 game. The Atlanta Falcons fired Raheem Morris following those two disappointing seasons for Atlanta. And the Arizona Cardinals fired Jonathan Gannon after 3 seasons. So definitely different sides, different reasons for all of these teams. I feel like maybe Harbaugh and the Ravens is the one that lines up closest to LaFleur, but it's just something to note. For LaFleur's sake, could he be on the hot seat if the Packers get bounced from the playoffs right away? And you look at it for Jeff Hafley, with a lot of these teams needing a head coach. Will Hafley be the guy to, fill shoes somewhere else? I mean, the Giants are looking for a coach. The Titans are looking for a coach as well. Those are two teams that I didn't mention. So definitely something to note. Don't want to think about it. Love the guys. Love what they've done for Green Bay. But you still cannot ignore what's going on around the league outside of the Packers themselves. But we're going to turn this over, sticking on, talking about Matt LaFleur. Let's stick on the offensive side. The play caller, LaFleur, who's he calling plays for? Jordan Love is going to be good to go for this game unless something miraculously bad happens in practice. He should be good to go, which is great to see after Love, has missed the past couple of weeks, getting hurt in that last matchup against the Chicago Bears. An updated status on Jordan Love. This is per Rob Domofsky on X, saying Matt LaFleur said he feels good about where Jordan Love is with his preparation, even after missing the last 2.5 games. He said Love got mostly a normal amount of practice work last week after he cleared concussion protocol, even though he didn't play in the finale. I think that's a very big thing. Lots of guys in concussion protocol. It's, how much are you really practicing? Love was getting those normal reps despite not playing in the season finale. Matt LaFleur also said in that game, if Love had to go in, if Clayton Tune were to get hurt, Love was just going to hand off footballs the rest of the game. He wasn't going to attempt to pass. So they're being smart with Love. They're being safe with Love. They're getting him the reps so he's not rusty, but they're not pushing him to, re-aggravate that concussion that he got cleared for. So very good signs from there. Kind of getting into the numbers on Jordan Love against the Chicago Bears in his career, they're kind of wavy because 2 of these games he didn't play fully. The most recent one against the Bears, he did not play fully, got removed from that game. Malik Willis came in for the rest of it. So you look at his career numbers against the Bears, he's 87 of 126, which is a 69% completion for 1,202 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Pretty solid numbers overall. But again, 2 of those games last season, Week 18, he got removed early. And then this most recent matchup against the Bears, he got removed early as well, getting that concussion. We're going to kind of look at, these numbers for Love outside of those 2 games, because those are all complete games for Jordan Love, and that's definitely what we're hoping for come Saturday. We want Love in there. We want him healthy. So you look outside of those 2 games where he was he was removed early. My apologies. And the numbers sit at 72 for 101 with 1,056 yards and then 9 touchdowns to those 2 interceptions. So those are some pretty good numbers. 72% completion, 250 plus yards per game passing, and then again 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Those are some pretty good numbers that Love has had against the Bears. And this season, you look at him in games where he played from start to finish against the NFC North. I know this is the Bears, not the NFC North. We're not facing 3 teams, but he was undefeated. So I know that the talks, you see what Willis has put on the field. Don't get me wrong, Malik Willis is, phenomenal. I do not think he will be a Green Bay Packer next season because I think he's going to get starter money somewhere else, probably a 2-year contract around $40 million. I mean, you look at some of these coaching firings. Do they bring in a new coach? Do they bring in a new quarterback? Does he go to a team like the Atlanta Falcons? Does he go to a team like the Arizona Cardinals? Who knows? But we're focused on Love. He's the guy. He's the guy they're giving $50+ million to per year. He's the guy they drafted in the first round for a reason, developed under Rodgers. So I know a lot of people want to hit the panic button and find a way to dump Love and put Malik Willis in there, but Love is the guy. He has proved it time and time again. I know in the playoffs hasn't been the prettiest record, but hey, 2 seasons for Love, 2 playoff appearances that he's been in. This will be his 3rd season and 3rd playoff appearance as a starter. And, he's proved to be pretty solid in the playoffs. I mean, that game against the Cowboys, phenomenal. Game against the 49ers, all right. Game against the Eagles, pretty bad. So, unfortunately, it's gone from a high to middle to low in his 3 playoff games. But maybe he has a chance to notch that back up against Chicago on Saturday. So, it'll definitely be interesting to track from there. But we're going to get into today's sponsor for the video. Shout out to them, as always, in Underdog Fantasy. Football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get in all the gridiron action. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get them right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code FOOTBALLFAN to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first 5. That's promo code FOOTBALLFAN. And kind of see what moved around on this roster. Got all this information, once again, from the one, the only Rob Domofsky on X on this post saying all the Packers moves today. Saying the Green Bay Packers have signed quarterback Desmond Ridder to the active roster from the practice squad, signed wide receiver Julian Hicks and wide receiver Keyshawn Johnson and tight end Isaiah Swinson to the practice squad, and they did release Clayton Tune from the team as a whole. It says general manager Brian Gutekunst announced these transactions on Tuesday, so they seem locked. They seemed official. So, not too much to get the notes from there. Maybe the fact that Tune is no longer with the Packers and they gave Desmond Ridder that boost up. An unfortunate situation for Tune. I mean, he got his opportunities, but wasn't really able to capitalize on them in any way in those games against the Ravens, in the game against the Vikings. Neat that he can get in there, but just did not work out, and the Packers had to move on for him. But we're going to move on to the very last point of this video, talking about the injury report for the Packers. And hey, I'm going to call this a decent injury report. This Packers team has been so hurt, and this is usually the sad segment of every single show. It's why I don't try to put it last and on a sad note, but it's why I try to hold it for last. But hey, you're looking at this, Tuesday is more of just that walkthrough, not a true practice, but we're still going to read all these names from top to bottom, a smaller list than usual. We started off with Warren Brinson with that foot injury. He was limited on Tuesday. Javon Bullard with that knee injury that he got against Minnesota. Seemed like positive news from that, and positive news that I can deliver. He was limited Tuesday. He's not fully out, so nice to see he's already back in there. Edgerrin Cooper with the shoulder injury. He was limited on Tuesday. Matthew Golden with an Achilles injury. He was a full participant on Tuesday. Bo Melton with that knee injury, who also got hurt in the same game against Minnesota. He is the only guy that did not participate on this entire injury report, so that'll definitely be something to monitor later in the week. Nick Niemann with the pectoral injury, he was limited. That would be a huge piece to get back on special teams, especially with how special teams performed in last year's playoffs. Want to put that in the past, want to get Niemann back, and look forward to this Saturday. Zach Tom battling both the back and knee injury. He was limited. Lucas Van Ness with that foot injury. He was a full participant. Very great to see there. Dontavian Wicks, who got concussed, he is limited in Tuesday. You got John Williams with that back injury. He was limited Tuesday. And Malik Willis rounding it out with that right shoulder and now hamstring injury. He was limited Tuesday. I think Malik Willis is going to be the big one to observe out of all of this. I mean, you got Desmond Ridder on the active roster. Like, is he going to be the backup if Jordan Love gets hurt again against Chicago? Like, it is definitely going to be interesting to monitor if Malik Willis would be good to go if he was needed in that game against Chicago. So, a smaller injury report than usual. Still not great to see all these names on one injury report, but hey, you got to take what you can get. But that's all I got for this episode of Packers Latest. I appreciate all of you tuning in as always, and I appreciate Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with some more positive news in the injury department and maybe some more picks on what I got for this game on Saturday. But as always, go Pack, go.